All right. Good afternoon. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com. Uh, Time for Deep Dish Football Game of the Week. Peotone versus Wilmington. Time to discuss Peotone's season so far. 2017 IHSA season. Week 4 is the Deep Dish Football Game of the Week between Peotone and Wilmington. Peotone 3-0. Huge game was their first game. That was a huge win. That set the tempo for the season against a tough opponent in Mantino. Again, they won the game. Coach Tolly, uh, I've said before, great young coach to keep a close eye out for, especially if any of the bigger programs are interested in him. He's that good. Young coach, one of the top young coaches in the state of Illinois. Um, his ability to do, what he did with that Peotone offensive line is unbelievable, and that team is unbelievable. You got Riley Cohen, Vaughn Vallone, um, of course, I forgot his name, the running back, who is a hell of a player and deserves to be all conference, all area. The kid's special. Um, but you got Vaughn Vallone, you got the O'Boyle wide receiver. It's a great team, great roster of players, great offensive line, great running back. Um, Now the key for this week and next week is beat Wilmington. And next week they have Lyle, another tough Interstate Eight Small opponent. If they win both these games, I think they got the thing locked up. Um, and I said this Coach Tolly deserves to be Coach of the Year for the I8. Um, he has done an unbelievable job with that team, especially with his years of taking over for Peotone football. Um, the kids respect him. Um, and personally, you don't. He does all the small things correct for that team, which is good to see. And coach, like I said, Coach Tully is a hell of a coach, and he's going to be going against another hell of a coach in Coach Rintz. And the main thing is, how do you attack that? How do you attack that hard nosed defense and that wing offense? How do you do that? How do you contain that? And some of the defenses now, especially for last year and this year, are starting to basically do a basic a bunch defensive formation uh, to try and stop that option. And it'll be interesting to see. And does Piatone go into a little bit of Mantino's playbook? Do they spread the receivers out? Um, the best way to beat Wilmington is beat them with the short pass game. Uh, that's a huge key thing for them is the execution and the pass completion of Peotone against Wilmington. That'll be a key factor to look at this game. But if any team can do it, it's Peotone. And there's a lot of people that think that this is Wilmington's time up, and it's time for Peotone's time. So we will see. This is going to be a good game Friday night. Another thing too is I want to see how uh, Vaughn Vallone and Cohen respond. I think O'Boyle needs to have a huge game for this team to make. The receivers are going to have a huge game, and that Peotone defense is going to have another huge. Is going to have a huge game. They can't give up any big run plays in this game. This is a huge game. It's going to be a momentum game, and they can't do that. And they can't be intimidated by Wilmington when Wilmington steps onto that field, because that's one of the biggest things with teams against Wilmington. Wilmington intimidates some teams. In fact, most of the teams in I8. Wilmington is that good at that intimidation factor. That pregame factor is unbelievable for Wilmington. So what will Peotone do? So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, going into this game, I think both teams are evenly matched. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a great game. And again, those Peotone kids, I've had the honor of meeting some of those Peotone kids. Nothing but respect for those kids. Great group of kids. O'Boyle, Vaughn Vallone. I'm forgetting the other Peotone kid that I met. Just great kids. Honestly, a huge respect for those kids and what they do. But again, we'll see what happens. But in this season, They got those 2 games. Now, this is the funny thing, and I didn't realize this. Mantino plays Coal City and Herscher. I'm sorry, Peotone plays Coal City and Herscher. You talk about a tough schedule. I'll tell you what. If Peotone, if Peotone, Peotone will probably get into the playoffs. Peotone will be probably one of the most battle tested 3A teams. Well, not 3A, but whatever class they are. They'll be one of the most battle tested teams because when you have Wilmington, when you have Coal City and Herscher on your schedule, that's a hell of a schedule. And my hat's off to Peotone football because that's a tough schedule, and they're a team you don't want to face in the playoffs. I'm just telling you that right now. So we'll see what happens. This Friday night's going to be interesting. If you like my stuff, please visit deepdishfootball.com. Follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook. Also follow on my Instagram, Coach Big Pete. How you doing? If you like my stuff, go to deepdishfootball.com. Go to the little thing that says Deep Dish Football Game of the Week. It will have all the videos, especially I was doing a double header this weekend. This game, Peotone versus Wilmington, and then Saturday, Hinsdale Central versus DGN. The stuff on Hinsdale Central DGN is on the bottom. On top is the Peotone versus Wilmington game and all that stuff. But so far, it's looking like a great season for Peotone, a magical season for Peotone and Coach Tolly, and what Coach Tolly has done for this team. It's unbelievable. So, if you have any questions, please email me, coachbigpete@fp@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day.